didn't I? I messed something up yesterday. We need to go to the ruins. So I messed up something yesterday because when I was at Flame Church, I was supposed to the cathedral. I was supposed to light the things, but I didn't know. So I'm going to have to light them this time through. So why'd you have to go in? Hello there. It's a lovely night, isn't it? No, it's not. If you're looking for an inn, traveler, there's one right over there. Oh yeah, because this is where the people wouldn't talk to me. When I had Temenos in the party. You have nothing to say? Eh. Oh, we're just gossiping. Alright, well, let's go in there and see what we can do. Let me pull up this guide so I don't miss anything. Because the last thing I want to do is make this take longer than it has to. Trying to be somewhat efficient tonight.
Here I come.
Have Akari and Throne in the party. Probably don't need both.
Well, well.
No. Roar thunder.
It's my a touch of poison.
Here. Spear of the Warlord. For the pride of Ku.
Okay, good start. We will change up this party a little bit. Throne, they're level 70 and 71, 72. I need to make sure that the others are high enough level because the fighting V-Day is going to take all 8 of them, and I need to make sure that I'm capable of beating. I'm going to have to figure out how I split my party up too, which I haven't really put as much thought into as I should.
Let the show begin.
I just know Hikari and Throne probably can't be on the same team.
It's my turn. I wonder what it'll be.
Thank you.
That helps Hikari. That's a lot harder.
Might. You're in for it now. Good. Let me show you what I've learned. Feel the power of the sacred flame.
Well now. Instilled with flame's fury. Time to shine.
Here I come. Now then.
That stings.
Reduce
Not as much as this will, though. Perfect. And then you can heal yourself.
Oswald. This will make it all right.
And then 2 sword attacks.
Never. I'm done. I've gained valuable insight.
Alright, not bad. I'm trying to get everyone to level 60, while not compromising the party. But once Cassie hits 60, I'll probably switch someone else, and Agnia's there. I'm hoping to hit one of those EXP boosts. Don't know if I will, but we'll see.
I shall be your opponent.
Alright, together now! A touch of poison.
Hit everyone. Hit everyone some more.
Here I come. You're in for it now. Time to strike. Who's next?
Well now.
Alright, I can stop the other one from attacking.
Here I go.
And then Oswald.
Thinking time. Roar thunder. Broken. Finished.
Great job, Oswald! Yes.
And then hit with the
Prepare
sword for the
yourself.
extra damage.
I still have much to learn.
Not bad. Akari is basically going to be the one to carry this battle. Hopefully it's something weak, assuming there's a battle in here. Journal Fragment 1. I did a diary. I finally got hired as a scrivener and for the Delsta Times too. All the world's information flows through a newspaper, a river of facts alongside a paper water wheel, an endless procession of scoop, scoop, scoop. As a journalist, I'll dash about the world investigating, uncovering, and breaking news. A better way for me to carry out my mission. Thought about this a lot. And everyone has some fact they're hiding, vast sums of knowledge locked in noggins the world over. But how to crack open these repositories and acquire those tasty secrets within? That's the rub, of course. As I am now, I doubt I have the dexterity to pick up any of those cranial locks. I was raised in isolation, always out of the loop, hiding quietly on the outskirts of society. There's a positive way to spin that, though. I spent all the time that I wasn't talking to people observing them. Here's what I learned. People let their guard down around cute little animals. The scowling guard captain will play cuddly coo with an adorable puppy and soon confess all his gripes to the freshest thing. And so, I will become the puppy. I'll wag my little doggy tail, act the part of the friendly little non-threatening furball, and slide right into people's confidences. My brother may be the soaring eagle with his bird's eye view, but I'll be a sharp-eyed hound, keeping my nose to the ground and sniffing out every last detail I can find. Let's save.
Here I come.
Feel the power of the sacred flame.
Wow.
Now then.
Damn it.
My axe is sharp.
Now,
That should kill.
Spear of the Warlord. Who's next? For the pride of Ku.
Number 2. My oldest memory is crimson, a spray of bright red droplets and a harrowing scream. A crowd fleeing in all directions and enemy soldiers mercilessly cutting down innocents. Some of them even laughed as they did it. Amidst this, I was a stone. Still in my tender years, I neither cried nor wept nor cowered, but merely watched the chaos unfold. Being raised in a war-torn land does things to an impressionable mind, and I suppose something had already broken inside me. I would have died that day, cut down like the rest, were it not for my brother. His cunning carved a path for us out of that hellish place. My brother's brilliant, so much so that the enemy king spared him if he would serve. Yet despite his genius, despite how shrewd the plans he proposed were in their attempts to avoid bloodshed, the blood always flowed. Humans steal, they kill, they take and they take and they take. Lives, possessions, land is the state of our nature, a simple fact of our existence. My brother and I have seen so much together, and we both reached the same conclusion. The world doesn't deserve to see another dawn. The life of man is nasty, brutish, and ugly. Why not make it short? The too long... So 8 separate stories for all the characters. Agnia becoming a star. Throne earning her collar to get freedom. So apparently Claude, who was the final boss, so she killed mother and father, got the keys for her collar. They didn't work. Another door worked. It took us to this place, Lost Seed Village, where apparently this dude who looks young is hundreds of years old and has just been banging everyone he can to get kids. Banging everyone, banging all the women he can. I mean, maybe dudes too, I don't know. But at least getting all these kids. Really though, I feel like Temenos' story is the one that links into this. The whole world is enshrouded in darkness right now. We saw some of it with the cross path with Casti and Ochep, and like we went into the forest and like there was no, and they couldn't hunt because there's nothing to hunt. All the animals were hiding because of the shadows. So we were able to dispel the shadows in the forest, but it seems now someone has been working behind the scenes to take out the sacred flame. And with all the flames out, the whole world has been enshrouded in darkness. So now we're trying to go to all these different places and light the flames. But I'm seeing that every character so far has had someone in their story play something towards this end goal. In Temenos' story, you had Mint, who was one of the workers of the church, and we fought her last night. Apparently, she has been one of the leaders of the Moonshade Order in disguise this whole time and is over 1,000 years old. But Kazan, who was basically the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like an advisor for Hikari. He had planned this all along for Hikari to be able to overcome, like he planned for Mugen, who was his half brother, to overcome his father. But then he also planned for Hikari to overtake Mugen so he would be able to get access to the sword. And the sword has the ability to harness the shadow. Like basically all these different people are working together or separately in order to end the world. For what? I'm assuming for V-Day. So now we're looking at journal fragments of someone. I need her on our side, and I need you to convince her that's a good idea. My brother's face was flushed as he handed me the letter addressed to Raimi. Perhaps he'd been in his cups. I didn't need to ask him why he would be celebrating. The fundraising in Montwise was going swimmingly. On my way home, I spotted Hikari. He's the key to everything in Ku, and if our machinations go according to plan, my brother will get what he's after. I doubt Hikari has a clue who I am. Another tactic proposed by Brother Dearest. No prior familiarity with me will help move things along down the line, but though Hikari doesn't know anything about me, I certainly know a lot about him. Hikari has another side to him, a second personality that my brother says was born from his family's cursed lineage. Somewhere in the past, Clan Ku's blood mingled with that of the infamous archmage Darkest, sparking a history of war and sacrifice. A more odious bloodline I do not know. As I passed Hikari in the street, for a moment I felt as if our eyes met. His gaze was steady and true, just as it was when he was a boy. How had that bright spark in his eyes not dimmed over time? He had seen the same horrors I had, been through the same terrible war. Who is this? This is bad. Akari was captured before I had a chance to deliver my brother's letter to Raimi. If Akari is killed, it'll ruin everything. We'll have to start over from scratch. Clan May calls the fortress of Stormhail its home, coldest place in Celestia, and I hate it. This time is of the essence. Yet this frigid blizzard is battering me like a leaf in the wind. If only I could take 2 steps without being blown 3 back. By the time I finally reached Stormhail, Hikari had already been released. I can only assume he managed to sway Raime on his own. I handed my overdue missive to one of Raime's retainers and quickly put that chilly place behind me. Someone working behind the scenes. Oswald is sentenced to life imprisonment. It took me a moment to process the judge's verdict. I blinked, doubting my ears. What was going on here? He was supposed to be executed, wasn't he? I ran as fast as I could to find Harvey. I should have known. That swine had stuffed leaves into the judge's pocket to bribe him into that decision. Why? I want him to see the power of my perfected magic. That's his reason, the blighted fool. Pride, worthless pride. We need the Book of Demons complete. What if Oswald somehow finds a way to interfere? When I gave my report to my brother, he simply said, just watch the spectacle unfold. Apparently my brother had already taken Harvey's massive ego into account when he made his contract with the man. If that's the case, and I suppose this isn't a problem after all, regardless, I should hurry and gather what information I can about Frigid Isle. So this is a news informant that's apparently going around and getting all this information for his or her brother. I feel like this could be Particio, because in Particio you had someone that was Ori that was going around, like always seemed to be around when something major happened. I don't know how Ori got around the world, but I don't know who Ori is related to either. No. Controller, you might get your wish out of me soon.
It's my turn.
Sea of Stars is download only, right? Or is there a physical copy?
Feel the power of the sacred flame.
Now it begins.
Interesting. This pleasure.
My blade sings.
Well now. Instilled with flame's fury.
This is gonna be, it's gonna sound really petty of me, but this is something I've thought about. As someone who has a lot of games, physical copies of games, I thought about getting a Switch case, because I could get Switch cases and custom spines from the guy that did my other ones. And I was thinking about, for the digital games I have, getting a physical case to represent it.
That helped. Well now.
You don't have to ask why, just know. Something I considered. Alright, we have to kill this thing this turn, otherwise Cassie's gonna die.
Thinking time.
What's up,
Reduce
Emma?
them to ash. All according to plan.
Interesting, famous. I've never played any of the Legends of
I've
Hero
gained
games.
valuable insight.
Legends of Heroes. And anything in that IP. Alright, we're backing out. I think I need to look at this one first. I'm trying to go in order. 6. I concealed myself among the chattering students and slipped into Harvey's lecture. The Book of Demons is nearly complete, so he was in a jovial mood. When I saw my chance, I gave Harvey the news. Oswald had tried to escape the frigid island and died in the attempt. I thought the news would throw his high spirits off a cliff, but instead he just started giggling. It was creepy. When he finally settled down, he merely said, "I need to prepare for my guest's arrival," and vanished back into his laboratory, humming cheerfully all the while. It's like he thinks Oswald's alive. Is Oswald alive? Can't be. And yet, if so, then he will come here to find Harvey and seek his vengeance. Wait, this could be perfect. I doubt Harvey will honor our agreement and hand over the Book of Demons without a fuss. If I can set those two against each other, it might create the perfect opportunity to slip in and swipe the book. I wonder if my brother had predicted this too. Yeah, I would only do it for the Switch though. I wouldn't do it for other systems, but I've thought about it, I'll admit. Damn it. I needed to read what Journal 7 was. I messed up. I don't know where it is, so I just skipped it. Apparently I can't go back and see what 7 is. That's gonna bug me. My fault for not going in order. I mean, I could just reload it, but I'm not. 8. Oswald entrusted the girl Elena to his assistant before setting off on a journey. Like Alpates, the blood of the Lumini family runs in Elena's veins. So his daughter, Oswald's daughter, has the same. I don't know if anyone remembers. There was a girl in the church. We found her, and then she went off to do something, and then we found her dead. She was murdered, and then we found the mirror. I'll need to continue monitoring her to watch her for suspicious signs. Day after day, Elena sits at her desk and pours herself into her studies. A diligent girl, I suppose, but I am curious as to why her brow sometimes wrinkles and she cradles her head in her hands. Still, her eyes are bright and her gaze seemingly set on some happy goal far off in the distance. A marked difference from when I saw her in Harvey's company. There's only worry and fear in her eyes then. My heart nearly leapt out of my throat when I heard that assistant's voice suddenly ring out behind me. "Can I help you, miss?" It's a lady. I immediately turned and tried to distract and dissemble what my tried and true cover story. "Can I interest you in a newspaper subscription?" She smiled then, eyes worn, but I sensed a keen suspicion burning deep within those friendly eyes. I will not underestimate her again. No one else has ever noticed me when I didn't want to be found. I'll need to abandon my surveillance. Too risky. Besides, I've seen nothing suspect in all the time I've watched Elena. Might as well move on to more important matters. That's insane, controller. I don't know how. Alright, number 9. Well, here I am in Candlebrine. Word is that I find someone, word is that I can find someone who has the lost pages of the Book of Night's original manuscript. Caldina, captain of the Sacred Guard, seems to be moving as Arcanet. That's who Mint was in Flame Church. We fought her in the skies the whole time. Seems to be moving as Arcanite predicted and assembling these pages. There's a potential problem, however. A nosy inquisitor named Timino seems to have caught wind of all this. Arcanet has her eye on him, but I can only pray he doesn't make any problems for us. I'll need to be careful not to draw his attention too. The Book of Night is close to being fully restored. Once it is, I'll need to move quickly to retrieve it and fulfill my mission. Allying myself with Arcanite was merely the easiest means to that end. My brother did tell me to be wary of her, however. He was quite forceful about it. I wonder why. 130 hours. Oof. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here. Number 10. Caldina, captain of the Sacred Guard, is driven by a lust for vengeance. To achieve that end, she seeks to make the power of Shadow her own. And with the restored Book of Night in hand, she set out for the Twilight Shrine. Her naive dream of avenging her people will never become reality. Why, you ask, dear diary? Because the right Arcanite, good lord, taught her is purposely flawed. So there I was, hiding in the shadows of the Twilight Shrine and waiting for the perfect opportunity. Lo and behold, Caldina's right went awry and she transformed into a most hideous form. No one told me I'd have to deal with some horrible monster just above my pay grade. Luckily, I had no fear. That Temenos showed up and handled the Caldina problem for me. I suppose Arcanite was behind his well-timed arrival. What a puppet master, bravo. I finally understand why my brother warned me to keep an eye on her. I've never heard of it. Anybody want to give me a brief, like a spoiler-free, like kind of overview of what it is story-wise? Here I am, grand old Timberrain, just in time for the coronation ceremony. Word on the street is that an apothecary named Trousseau is going to rain on the parade with a storm infused with shadow energy. See, this is almost like a recap of the story here, and how it's all tying together. Because Trousseau was the final boss in Cassie's thing, her story. He somehow is able to make rain clouds rain poison, like poison rain basically, and kill people. His goal, and I quote, is to extend a hand to save all in need. What a nice notion. Let's rewind the clock. It was 1 year ago that Trousseau lost hope in the future and started down this path. He was out gathering medicinal herbs when he stumbled into Lost Seed. There he met Claude, who gave him the Book of Night. Claude was disappointed with the encounter, it seems. He had swayed Trousseau to his side, but couldn't persuade an apothecary in the man's company. With a regretful sigh, he told me that this other apothecary's eyes were filled with a motherly strength, deep wells of kindness that belied a sense of fierce determination. What was her name again? Ah, yes, Casty. She stopped Trousseau, saw the people of Timberrain to safety, and even dealt with the poison rain. As if that wasn't enough, she also managed to mix up medicine that could combat the shadow on the spot. Claude's intuition was right. Cassie is someone to keep an eye on. My brother will need to know that we have another dangerous potential wrench in our plans. Claude was the one behind the snakes, like the ultimate leader of the snakes and Throne's final boss. That's how she got her freedom. Acceptance of death, huh? Number 12. I met a merchant today in Clock Bank. An honest fellow with laughing eyes named Patricio. He's boasted that he'll rustle up 80 billion leaves and buy the rights to the steam engine from his current owner, Mr. Rock. Then he'll give the technology away to everyone. When pressed on why, he said, things like this should be shared with the whole world. Patricio confuses me. If I can borrow that ruthless Rock's words, it is human nature to take from others and give unto oneself. Despite his noble declarations, I'm sure Patricio will prove himself no different from the others' line. Greed and self-interest will win out in the end. They always do. So I'm vaguely curious as to how this story will play out. I'll follow this Patricio, though I'll keep my expectations low. Placing your faith in others only gets you betrayed in the end. 15. My brother made a deal with Harvey. Craft the Book of Demons, an evil tome said to be imbued with the magic of Darkest himself. Why, you ask? Well, dear diary, because we needed to restore the lost dark blood. What? The rub here is that neither my brilliant brother nor even Claude knows how to make this tome, thus the need for Harvey. The one thing my brother does know is that the remains of Darkest are a key component. When I shared that vital tidbit, Harvey smiled. That's all I needed. It sounds like he was already most of the way there. He's a valuable asset, so we'll do everything we can to assist him. Harvey has an unhealthy obsession with a scholar named Oswald. No, let's call it what it is. A severe inferiority complex. Harvey told me that he'd gladly give up to Don if it meant he could best the man. We let Harvey read the Book of Nights in order to pull him into our intrigues, but honestly, I think it wasn't necessary. That bottomless well of envy in his gut, properly manipulated, would likely have been motivation enough. Besides, I don't trust him. No normal person can fathom that twisted mind of his. Solving puzzles, oh god. Solving puzzles is scary for me.
Now it... Keep my friends safe.
I didn't kill. That's a surprise.
Now then, together now! A touch of poison.
Thinking time.
And
Roar,
KO.
thunder. You're finished. Study harder.
Anyone heard of the game Catherine? Puzzles. I was so excited to play that because of the story. And then I realized it was puzzle, 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 and it's been sitting there. Number 16. Welcome to my humble castle. That was how he greeted me when I arrived in Lost Sea, so this is Claude, right? Before he took me on a casual stroll through that rotting mausoleum of a town, I struggled not to gag on the stench of death and decay, all the while him smiling and breathing deep as if taking in the airs of a tranquil mountain meadow. This ghastly man's name is Claude, and he is the descendant of the infamous Archmaid Carcass. So is this why he was trying to have all these children? It is said that his notorious grandfather gave him a taste of the blood of malevolent god of darkness, Vide. There we go. Frighteningly enough, while he was still in the womb. As a result, the man is blessed with eternal youth. Okay, so that explains why this guy is able to live forever long. With the blood of Darkest and Vide within his veins, Claude's fate was to become the Dark God's vessel, and yet he rejected this destiny and instead chose to pass that honor on to his offspring. For our part, we don't care who the vessel is, we just have one, just that we have one. Claude, however, seems to have preferences in the matter. Preferences, fa. The man sired countless children with countless women and set his progeny at each other's throats. To the bloody victor goes the ultimate spoils. I shivered as he looked me up and down, his eyes seeming to pierce my very soul. It was as if he was seeking to plant a murderous seed inside me, too. When he handed me the dark blood staff, he told me that the woman who stole it for him has a lot of potential. His words, my purpose in Lost Seed fulfilled. I hurried out of there. I can't wait to hand the staff over to Arcanet and let her handle the cathedral's sacred flame. Patricio's gone and done it. He has gone and done it. He's humbled Rock and actually wrestled the rights to the steam engine from that greedy tycoon. Still, that's nothing compared to what he did next. He actually gave it away, just as he said he would. Things like this should be shared with the whole world. He's lifted up to that grandiose statement, and then some. The heat of his passion even melted Rock's icy heart, and I didn't think the desert sun was hot enough to do that. But taking a step back, what Patricio did is impossible, unimaginable, inconceivable. I've observed countless people in my time, and to date, every one of them is motivated to varying degrees by self-interest. People are always willing to step on others to achieve their own interests, but Patricio, he is truly different. Is he someone who can at last transform this dark, ugly world into something wonderful? What do you think, brother? Number 17. Dear Diary, today I met with Petrichor? Whatever. The woman known as the Dark Hunter. I've introduced her to Professor Harvey several years ago at Arcanet's request. She was talkative today and had this to say. I met Arcanet when I was young, and it was then that I swore myself to her service. Ever since, I've hunted for her and her alone, even slaying the legendary monster known as the Guardian of the First Flame. At her behest. Sometimes I hunted people too, like the time I came to possess the Dark Blood Blow. Once again, my lady has use of me, so I shall gladly obey. I nodded along, and when she finished, she showed me a monster. This beast, which she had captured on Totohaha, looked out at me with eyes filled with loathing for all that walked on this earth. I asked her what it was, and she told me the result of years of brutal conditioning and a healthy dose of Harvey's science for good measure. The result? An abomination crafted through repeated and horrifying experiments. I nodded again. A soul this steeped in despair would surely prove to be a great source of power. It seems that leaving the flame of Totohaha in her care should prove no issue. This was Ochet's final boss, so we could pick Akala, the jackal, or we could pick the owl. I forgot what the owl's name was. but I picked Akala, and they took the owl and did this. Hmm. No, you didn't, Marcus. I hope you have fun there. I can't believe it. How did Patricia turn that economic desert of a town into a hopping commercial hub? That business idea of his was inspired. I must admit that watching Alron's department store come to life woke something warm inside me. I told Patricia that the world's filled with people groaning under the weight of 1,000 problems. It's fresh ideas like this that bring a ray of joy into troubled lives. For once, I really truly meant what I said. I never should have poured my heart out in public like that. I suppose my declaration was proof that he's cracked my emotional defenses and convinced me to believe in him. In my defense, he's really something else. Before I knew it, I was promising to help. Truth is, I'm excited to see what magic he'll pull out of his Particio hat next. Guess what, dear diary? This is the first time I've ever helped someone for something that wasn't directly related to my mission. Let me stop for a moment, and also appreciate the fact that he convinced the Alderon to invest 80 billion leaves in him. 80 billion. The question is, will Particio prove to be a man of integrity? Will he really use those leaves to help the world and not just line his own pockets? Just a little bit longer. Only a bit, mind. I find myself needing to see what he does next. That is the reporter. Okay. Do you know what the card is for the show, Marcus? I have no idea. It's the currency of the game. I don't know what to, like, I don't know what to compare it to. It'll suck if I got the instant death here.
That helped.
Spear of the Warlord.
Feel the power of the sacred flame. I've seen worse methods.
No, I have not. Apparently the highest, let me look real quick with Bewildering Grace. You can get, I know you can get times 100, but my question is, what's the highest effect you can get? Experience times 2, haven't got that. I've got experience times 5 a couple times. Experience times 100. It's a 0.1% chance. But you can only get it when it's maxed out. Like you can get, it's not an instant death. But there's a fire rages uncontrollably, which is 0.5, which is critical AoE damage to the party. And then there's you barely survive the attack, which is a 1% chance, which drops all every party member's HP to 1. Let the mirror shine and kindle a fire in your heart. Chase away the darkness. The traitor, so then this should be Particia. There we go. Sacred flame has been doused. Perhaps it can be rekindled. I like how it's highlighted. I never even thought to look at that. Oh yeah, here we go. I missed one. That wasn't the one. That wasn't the one either. This one. Harvey has left for Dusk Ruined Shrine. The remains of Archmage Darkest will provide the final piece that Harvey needs. The Book of Demons will soon be complete. I found a nice cozy place to conceal myself, and sure enough, Oswald showed up. Just as predicted, the two fought it out, and I was able to retrieve the Book of Demons. In the wake of their battle, there was one surprise, however. Harvey escaped alive. What was that bright flash of magic? A glimpse of the force that made dwarf even that of the Book of Demons? That girl, does she have some special power within her? Harvey's alive? I didn't know that. Alright, here we go.
Now what have we got here?
See, this is the reporter that was following Particio around. Like, I thought it was just some nosy kid.
Have I stumbled upon a scoop once again? Why, I believe I have.
But who's your brother?
I'm glad that's done. There's no need to keep up this cloying facade. To wear the mask of a chipper, unflappable scrivener. No. Now I bring an end to this dark, wretched world. To liberate its people from their pain, their suffering, and their hatred. Just like I swore to you, brother. Together, we will usher in the night. I kept a close eye on the travelers, all while my allies and I worked behind the scenes. Until at last, I found the book I sought. The Dark Blood Grimoire. With it, I will smother the sacred flames, that they will never again light the way for the dawn. I offer this gift of blood. May the flames turn cold and dark. Mortals. Gods. Who was it that drew the line between them? The blessed? The accursed? Us? Them?
Did we really have to sacrifice ourselves here?
Particio. Would that we had never met. I'm sorry.
It's not a bad card, though. The second burns anew. Particia, got something to say? Ori. I heard from an apothecary in town. A woman was found collapsed near the sacred flame and brought there for treatment. She had brown hair and wore a cap, much like a scrivener. After she regained consciousness, she simply vanished. That's Ori, it's gotta be. But if that's true, then what saved her? It appears her wounds fell just short of being fatal. She must have changed her mind, just in the nick of time. She saw the worth in walking toward the dawn. Well, I can hazard a guess as to why she hesitated. I believe it was thoughts of you that saved her life. Me? Now don't be ridiculous, like I'd have anything to do with that. Well, no matter what, as long as she's alive, all's well. But just where does she wander off to? Sure I'm lucky you're around to cheer me up, eh? Our journey isn't over. We'd do well not to waste time in idle conversation. But if you must talk, then perhaps a different topic of conversation would suffice. Oswald, thank you kindly. Alright, I could warp out of here, but I'll take a couple of fights on the way out.
Stand aside or fight.
Here
Margit Steve. Gotcha.
Thank you.
All in a day's work.
On second thought, I'm transforming out. If the XP is that low, no. And now we need to go to Tombs of the Warden Beast, which is in Toto Haha. Oh, because the flame is lit. That's why.
Broncos country, let's ride. These nuts. Ha! Got him! Ha! Got him!
I need to go back up to the cathedral and light that one because I messed up. I will admit it has been peaceful with the Broncos not being good. Hello again. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. It's been quite peaceful with the Broncos being 0-2. One of the weirdest things to me with sports is when people are wrong. I don't know, maybe it's just a life thing. But I feel like when people are right, they are very, very quick in terms of sports to running and shoving it in your face. But when they're wrong,
I need a plan.
impossible to find. Impossible to find.
Feel the power of the sacred flame. Awake.
Fine. You're in for it now. Who's next?
I didn't kill.
What to do?
No, oh well, you died from this.
I know no cure for evil.
Well, unfortunately, I know more about it than I'd like to. Because I live here, so. It's quite the topic of conversation when I do turn into local media.
I'll do what I must.
Margit Steve.
You're a true friend.
I need a plan.
I think I can beat this game tonight. I should at least
Feel
bare
the
minimum get to
power
beat
of the
it.
sacred flame.
Now. Spear of the
Hold for
Warlord.
kill, don't even care.
Who's next? I still have much to learn.
Random question. You don't have to hate the person at all, but if there was one sports jersey that really annoyed you to see, for whatever reason, what was the jersey? And I'll tell you right now, for me, it was Tim Tebow. Like, I have nothing against Tim Tebow the person, but the obsession that people had for Tebow was quite ridiculous, given the performance on the field. I'm like, damn. And people told me it's because he's a Christian. Like, well, there's many other, there's many others that are Christians too. So that's the reason why. You could have found someone that had a better performance on the field to go with it, you know? That should be Temenos. On Throne. There we go. Maybe McNabb's jersey because of the Eagles too.
Wake up, Tansy. Night has come.
Hmm?
Wake up, Tansy. Night has come. Sister Mint? Oh, I fell asleep without realizing it. Do not worry. You must have been quite tired.
That had to be brutal.
You traveled far to see my wish granted. Sister Mint, I mean, Goddess. I would do anything if it brought me closer to you. Your devotion is moving.
That's actually kind of disturbing.
You have gone far beyond my every expectation. And must be rewarded.
With death.
Rewarded?
With death. Death, yeah, because there has to be a sacrifice.
I love you, Tansy. Huh? It's so dark. Where am I? What? My body? Pathetic child, oblivious until the very end. But this is what you wanted, is it not? It's not as if you desired to see the dawn.
Wow.
The sacred flames have been snuffed out. Surrender yourself not unto
Unto
silent
silent
dusk,
dusk.
for the light shall fade.
Yeah.
And soon the world shall know the joy of a dawn that never comes.
No, we already killed you, so whatever.
All who stand in my way shall be cast aside. I shall root out the travelers and bury that wretched mirror beneath the earth.
Okay, that
That it
makes
may
sense now.
never enkindle the flames again.
So she was trying to find who had the mirror so she could get rid of them so that they wouldn't be able to stop the night from coming. Interesting. Doing you're funny. Ah, that's funny. So this is the night? Could this darkness she spoke of be V-Day? V-Day. Legends portray him as a god of fear and destruction, which means the dawn must be. I spoke with the children of this village not long ago. It seems there's going to be a concert tomorrow. Dulcinea is coming to entertain everyone with her dancing. The children were waiting for the dawn with stars in their eyes. It was a beautiful sight, like gemstones glittering in the dark. They see nothing but hope. See, Makoto still lives. Indeed. That's why I made a promise to them. I promised that I would steal back the dawn. You truly are, Aber, come again. Is that meant to be a compliment? But of course. Now then, shall we get to work, Aber? Certainly there's a lot of work to be done, more than I've ever done before. Yeah. By the way, I never got a job. Okay, now we're supposed to go to Totohaha. And go to here. Like it kind of, if you look on the map, it kind of tells you where to go because low level areas become super high levels out of nowhere. So then we should be lighting this one and then basically re-travel to the last place. And then we're basically in the end game right now. like the end-to-end game. So yeah, I should be able to beat this game tonight. Well, again, I should be able to get to V-Day tonight. Beating the game, well, we'll see about that. I don't know how difficult V-Day is going to be. I remember one place I always wanted to work at was Best Buy because of the discount. Because I used to work when I was younger, EB Games, which EB Games is now, they got bought out by GameStop. I used to work there, so that was like, I wouldn't say the dream job like you're saying, but in terms of saving me money, it was great because I got a discount on games. Any game that I wanted, I got. The PSP, because of that, I didn't have to deal with any waiting. It's like, I work here. I'm going to be on the list. I remember my district manager did not like that. Because I think our store got 12, like 10 or 12 PSPs. And I got one, my manager got one, and my best friend got one. And she's like, you and, I was about to say his name, but you and, well, CJ, you guys aren't going to know who he is, but you and CJ should not be able to get those. Those should be for the customers. Like, I'm a customer too, I spend money. I get what she was saying, but I didn't care. Like, I'm gonna get it. I spent a lot of money on games there. And honestly, I probably bought more games than I normally would have because of the discount. If there was a game that I wanted to take a chance on, I would do so because of the discount.
Life is too precious to risk.
Dang.
Prepare you.
It's not bad.
I won't be afraid. Soul gets you set. Next.
I need a...
Oh, it doesn't matter which one I do, you're weak to everything.
Them to ask.
Now as an adult,
Study harder.
I was gonna say Best Buy because just electronics in general, but Best Buy doesn't seem stable. Like, they still have good products there, but I worry that at some point that they're gonna be out of business. And Amazon, I can tell you, as someone that works for Amazon, the discount is not worth working there. Like, if you're working there for the discount, you're wasting your time. Honest to God. So my discount, just so you know, my discount on Amazon products is 10%. It has to be something that Amazon ships. And you have a max of $100 you get to save. So that means I have to spend $1,000 in order to get $100. So I'm only getting $100 off the entire year. Definitely not worth it.
You're in for it now. Who's next?
And the big one that bugs me more than anything else is that we don't get Amazon Prime for free, and we don't get a discount on it. We still have to pay for that out of pocket. I was gonna pay for it anyway because I use Amazon Prime, and I order a fair bit of stuff from Amazon. Because Amazon is perfect. There's things that there's things that are really hard to find that I'm able to get there that make my job a lot easier. Life a lot easier. Job. But yeah, the discount is not worth it.
You are a poison that must be purged.
Here we go.
Apple had pretty good discounts.
Yeah.
My turn.
Apple may have had the best discounts of anywhere I worked, to be honest.
Feel the power of the sacred blade.
Prepare. You're in for it now. Good. For the pride of Ku.
So if I remember right, when I worked for Apple, when I worked for Apple, you had, like you were put in the 401 immediately. Their match was pretty good. I don't remember exactly, but it was pretty good given the time, because that was back in 2013 that I worked for Apple, 2013, 2014. Then you got to work with the Mac, and then you got to use the Mac, and then you got discounts on all Apple products. Like, let's be honest, they're already overpriced to begin with, but you got discounts on all. You got discounts for phones. So if you got an iPhone and you got it through whoever, you got a discount, and that discount was actually pretty nice. That's the main reason why I still have an iPhone, because I refuse to let that go. Even though I don't work there anymore, I still benefit from that. But if I wanted any Apple products, that was huge. The last iPod that I bought was with that, and it was a pretty nice discount. I think it was 30% off. 30% off's not bad.
Out of my
Because
way.
you know that stuff is not usually on, like, their sales are not usually that big, so 30% off is nice.
Feel
Nope.
the power of the sacred blade.
We are not able to. We still have to let it be delivered.
What to do? What?
Prepare. You're in for it now. Good. Who's next?
There can be an exception made. There can be an exception made. When I was in San Diego, when it was like the super, super hot time of the year, I ordered a fan,
Feel the power.
and I definitely was complaining about it at work, and the manager, the OTR manager, because the Flex
Fine work, Oswald.
was being delivered from the warehouse. There's a Flex warehouse that was across the street from us.
Good. For the pride.
And she
of Ku.
said that if it's not shipped yet, or like out for delivery, like the driver hasn't picked it up, they'd be able to tell in the system that she could have it held and have it brought to our warehouse and just do it that way. But it's not worth the trouble. It's very rare that they're going to let you do something like that anyway, and it's really more work than it needs to be. So I'm just like, whatever, I can wait. It was there when I got home. That's all I cared about. That fan, man, that fan saved me that summer, because I was so grumpy. I'm saying it was so hot that summer because we didn't have AC, and yeah, I lived by the beach, but it didn't matter. It was so hot that when I was laying in bed, I had to put something under me because it was soaking the sheets. Like I was just peeing the bed because I was sweating that much because of how hot it was. And that fan literally put it on my desk right in front of me. It was so ridiculous that summer. That summer last summer I was so grumpy. And it affected my stream too. I don't know if anyone remembers, but when I was streaming back then, there was for like a period of a month where I'd have a towel with me while I was streaming. Because I had to constantly wipe my face, because you have to think it's already hot.
Accept only victory.
God damn it, Wicked. Ow.
Well now, I time for your medicine.
Many thanks. Prepare. I'll end this.
Wait, does Brand's blade hit everyone? No.
exposed. I've got you.
Right. Wahoo!
So then if we're going axe, where's it at? Where is that? Is that apothecary that has it? Let's go bow.
Come on, Hunt Prince Prefecty! Here we go. I'm starving!
Thinking time.
I don't know how much health this guy has. I'm not gonna look right now, but we'll see.
Indulge me for a moment.
Weak ties. And then weak to some other form of magic, what I don't know. Bow. We'll go with this so I can hit you twice.
Let's go. Akala!
Now then. Let me show you what I've learned.
On true magic, it should hit for 99.99 twice. I don't have his damage cap lifted.
Here I come.
I don't know what I want to go with.
You're in for it now.
What to do? What to do? Instilled with blizzard chill.
Now then.
It'll hit twice.
Here we go. Huh?
Go
Let's
check.
arrow time.
Akari.
Might.
Where's the axe at? There we go.
Axe of the lion heart.
15k, 16k.
What to do? What to do?
Half health.
Poison slash.
Plus poison. Thank you.
Ouch.
Very fortunate that didn't kill me, because that was not well planned on my part.
Huh?
1, 2, ice for third. A third. Thank you.
I call upon the miracle of peace.
That helped. What to do?
1, 2, 3.
My turn. I won't be afraid. Hienka!
Ice.
Time to strike. Now it begins.
I have no magic.
Here.
Thank you.
This is when Partitia would come in handy.
Here. Heads up.
Many thanks. Now, I'll end this.
Now then. Let me look at you.
Figured as much.
Well now.
Trying to make sure it does as much damage as possible. That's why I did that.
Poison slash.
Sword of the Conqueror.
Good lord, 37k. That's hot. Basically 39k on that turn.
Let me show you what I've learned.
This is risky.
Feel the power of the sacred flame.
Never mind.
My turn.
I just have to make sure I don't die.
Yeah.
Ouch! I'm starving! That's my quarry!
Excuse me.
My turn.
I have a talent for making do.
A pinch of this and
Many thanks.
That works. Heal for everyone at least.
Here we go!
Alright, I might be able to get to go a second time. We'll see if we can get it. Oh, otherwise I would have boosted. Yes, I got it. Make sure I do the right thing.
Time to finish this!
I need a plus. Reduce them to ash.
And Hikari to finish
Now
the
we-
deal.
My blade sings.
my turn.
Let's go! Huh.
Well now. Forgive me.
Alright, we should be ready to fight V-Day now. I'm not sure if I'd say ready, but at least it should be the next point of interest. So that was the first flame, huh? Have you heard of it before? Yeah, it came to life inside me. It was comforting and warm. It was then that I decided I wanted to protect the island. I always felt you had a heart warmer than most. Now I think I'm ready to take on something even bigger. I'm ready to protect the whole world. That's what a hunter should do, after all. I feel the same way as you do. I want to extend a helping hand to everyone in need during this endless night. You're an apothecary everyone can count on. Then let's do it together. Let's keep everyone safe. Gladly, Ochet. I'm honored to have you by my side. Oh, so touching. Whatever. Okay. Just light this stuff. Slim chance to instantly kill target. The mirror reflects the memories of the sacred flame. The night of the scarlet moon. The scarlet moon waxes and the first flame wanes. At last our great wish shall be fulfilled.
This world is naught but hunters and their prey. Just as Cataracta fell to my bow, just as Glacius's egg shattered before my might.
Ooh.
The Dark Hunter sets forth once again, and my aim will not falter.
So that explains why that
Under the
happened.
gaze of the Scarlet Moon, I shall fulfill the Great Wish.
Such a creepy sound.
You must be quivering with joy, for your time has come at last. 10 years ago, I scooped you up, let you live. It was all for this moment. The darkness in our hearts is fed by anger, hatred, resentment, and jealousy. Our basest instincts. As that darkness grows deeper, so too does the shadow grow powerful. Few can stand against a beast whose heart has been drowned in darkness. A beast such as you. Long have I waited for the darkness within you to become black as night, so that maddening flame could be smothered forevermore.
Rolled the raven.
With my lifeblood, I shall call down the night. Now then. Make of my flesh an offering.
The hell? You people are
And
weird.
banish all that stands to oppose us. Give meaning to your miserable life.
Is it eating her? And the flame dies out.
Ah, Arcanet.
Okay. The light of the sacred flame indicated the northwest direction. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, I think we all know what time it is. If you don't know, let me tell you. I think it's about that time. So let's look at equipment. Cassie. It's Vader time. Time. You can have the bow. Oswald. I think we're gonna go ahead and beat the game now. I'm gonna circle back though to beat Galdera, but it will certainly not be tonight. I am not prepared for Galdera. It takes preparation for that. So much so that I actually may play off stream to grind so that I can make it a little bit easier on stream. That is not going to be easy. It's the toughest boss in the game. I'm sure V-Day is not exactly going to be a cakewalk. I don't expect him to be. So, yeah. Gotta keep that speed high. Should be interesting. I truly don't know what to expect in this fight. Just sure where the fun in this will be. I'll take that swap. Okay. The speed goes up. Is speed worth the difference of... No. I mean, probably is, but for my playstyle, no. We'll be fine. And last but not least, Partitio. As critical drops a bunch. The speed drops more. Swap. The water makes this all very calming. Because stuff's about to go down here. Stuff is about to go down here. Okay. Wow.
Ready to be prey?
I barely moved.
Let's go. Huh? Huh? There. Now let's grab some food.
The question is, do I get to walk into this boss fight, or do I have to do more? When I say do more, do I have to like do I have to go through a dungeon? I don't care either way. Well, we know where we're going. We're looking for that green dot up there.
You are a poison that must be purged.
My. Huh?
Now it's over.
No.
Well now.
Direct.
Forgive me.
Is it here? Bidania. This is where our journey comes to an end, at least in terms of story. Slightly nervous. Slightly nervous. Look at those graphics. Look at that view. That's pretty cool.
That's...
Do you know where we are, Temenos?
the battlefield of the gods. Vidania.
Vidonia.
Vidania?
The Isle of Illusions. A legend passed down by the Order of the Sacred Flame. To think it actually exists.
Illusions, eh? So that means we've dropped plumb off the map.
The legend says it was sealed on the ocean floor by the power of the sacred flames.
The sacred flames? Then why is it here? The flames are burning bright, aren't they?
Yes, but there was a moment before we reignited them that their light was snuffed out.
And that was enough to break the seal?
This is what they were after. Those who would deny the dawn.
To world's end. Is that where you are, Kazan? Is that where you plan to call down the night?
All right. This looks really cool. Baker Castle, Vidania. Can I beat 2 games in a week? So, party construction. We got Throne. Well, first of all, anyone that needs something, let me put them in the party. Because we need everyone to be fully healed, fully stocked. Partitio. Okay. Partitio needs to be paired with Hikari. The way that I'm going to play this. So we have those. I feel like Throne is going to be in the opposite party. I need one of Temenos or Oswald. Unless I added Oswald, but then I don't have access to magic, really. Oh, shit. See, it's a little bit harder. I don't know if I like this. We're gonna find out.